So today's assignment is just a review assignment, what we've been doing actually for the last week or two, which is solving equations by the process is completing the square, all right, and then also solving equations by taking square roots. All right, so two different topics here, just 8 questions, all right, and show your work. Circle your answer. You can't just circle answers. You gotta give me some work on separate paper, or you can do it on this paper. I know there's not a ton of room on this paper, but you can do it on separate paper if you like, and then just submit. So let's look at the first one here. What I think I'll do is I'll do 2 questions from the top section, and then you can do the other 2, and then I'll do 2 questions from this bottom section, and then you can do the other 2. And if you have any questions, you can ask. All right, so let's start. Let's do the first one here. It's kind of annoying, these answers are in the way here, so I'm just going to rewrite the question right here. So k squared minus 12k plus 32 equals 0. Okay, we're going to solve it by completing the square. So when we complete the square, we want the c term to be on the other side of the equal sign. So I'm just going to do that by using the inverse operation. So in this case, minus 32, both sides. So now I have k squared minus 12k equals, and then I'm going to write plus blank equals 0 minus 32 is negative 32. Make sure you have a calculator ready so you can calculate. And then we're going to complete the square here. So this blank is our new c term that I'm going to add in. So how do we figure out what that is? We're going to take half of the b term and square it. We're going to take b and we're going to divide it by 2 and we're going to square it. So our b term is negative 12. Negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 squared is 36. So I want to add 36. And then again, what you do to one side, you do to the other. Now what I've created here is a perfect square trinomial. Okay. So if I were to draw my perfect square, I would have k squared, negative 6k, and 36. So you can see this factors out to k minus 6, k minus 6. So I'm going to say k minus 6 squared instead. So k minus 6 squared, same thing as k minus 6 times k minus 6 equals, and then negative 32 add 36 is positive 4. From here, I only have just a couple more steps. Now, the whole point of doing that, because now I can undo that square. All right, so I can undo that square by square root. Both sides. So now that gives me k minus 6 equals, the square root of 4 is 2, but we want to take the positive and the negative. So we say plus or minus 2. And the only thing we have left to do is to simply just add 6 to both sides. And we're going to have 2 answers here. So k equals positive 2 plus 6 is 8, and negative 2 add 6 is positive 4. So our 2 solutions are 8 and 4, and you can see that's answer choice D. So it's important you guys are showing that process in the work, okay? Let's go, I don't know, I guess I'll go down in here and do number 4. It gives me some more space here. Okay, so number 4, first thing I want to do, just like last time, is I don't want that c term to be on the same side as the quadratic. So I'm going to minus 40 from both sides. And then I'll rewrite it over here. So r squared minus 14r equals 0 minus 40 is negative 40. All right, so let's see. Yeah, my audio, it's been telling me I'm having a bad internet connection this morning. Can you guys hear me right now? Just type yes or no. Can you hear me? Yes. Or, well, I guess if you can't hear me, you're not going to type no. Type me yes if you can hear me. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the audio. I think it's internet connection or something. It's telling me I'm having a bad internet connection for some reason. Okay, so if I cut out and you miss something, just type me a question. Okay, like what did you say or something like that, and I'll do my best to work on that. All right, so let's complete the square here. So r squared minus 14r, we're going to add our own c term. How do we do that? We're going to take b and divide it by 2, and then we're going to square it. Okay, so our b term is negative 14 divided by 2 is negative 7. Negative 7 squared is 49. So I want to be adding 49 both sides. This factors out to be r minus 7 times r minus 7. Negative 7 times negative 7 is 49, and it adds to make negative 14. Equals, and then that makes 9, negative 40 plus 49. All right, now I can shorten this up. Instead of r minus 7 times r minus 7, I can just say squared. And now we're going to solve it. Just a couple of steps here. So I'm going to square root both sides. And that gives me r minus 7 equals square root of 9 is plus or minus 3. And we're just going to add 7 to both sides here. And it looks like we're done. So r equals 3 plus 7 is 10. Negative 3 plus 7, positive 4. So 10 and 4 there. Looks like answer choice B. All right, so that's that section there. So why don't you guys try to Okay, can you hear me now? Type yes or no. Thanks, Diego. Yes or no, can you hear me? All right. Okay, cool. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that. Just some internet stuff, and then when I came back in, I was muted for some reason. Sorry about that. I think we're good now. All right, so you can see we're missing a b term is what I was saying. So when we're missing a b term, you can easily solve the quadratic by just getting b squared by itself, right? So I have this equation, 10b squared minus 5 equals 805. We're missing a b term. So I'm just going to do the opposite here. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. And now I have 10b squared equals, that's 810 if I add those together. And I want to get b squared to be by itself, right? Because if I do that, then all I have to do is take the square root. So I'm going to divide by 10 to get rid of that. I'm going to go over here. So now I have b squared equals 810 divided by 10 is 81. And then all I have to do is square root both sides to cancel that out, and we're good to go. Square root 89 plus or minus 9, positive 9 and negative 9. So you can see answer choice A. There is your answer. All right, let's do this one, number 8. Same thing. We want to get m squared to be by itself. We're missing a b term, okay? That's an a term, that's a c term, and that's a c term. So there's no b term. Whenever there's no b term, you can solve by square roots. Just get the m squared by itself, right? So we're gonna, so I have 3m squared minus 6 equals 237. So I just want to add 6 to both sides to get rid of that. So now I have 3m squared equals, if I add that together, that's 243. And then all I need to do is just divide by 3 to get rid of that. So in your calculator, we're going to punch in 243 divided by 3, and let's see what we get. Yeah, I get 81, just like the last one. So, and then we're going to take square root, cancel that. And we know that the square root of 81 is plus or minus 9, just like that last problem. So that's how you're solving those when the b term is missing. You don't have to do the completing the square. You can just solve by